I'm not someone who often upgrades technology unless I absolutely have to, unless I'm forced to evolve. For example, and this'll get me bullied a little bit, thrown up against the lockers and made fun of, I actually used my iPod Touch all the way up until about 6 months ago as my primary means of listening to music. I used my iPod Touch from about 2009 or 2010 all the way until 2023 with no problems and no plans of changing that. The only reason I switched to just making a music playlist on YouTube to listen to songs from now on is just because that was a little more convenient to add new tracks to it. Whereas to add a new track to my iPod Touch, I had to fire up iTunes, which already feels like an archaic fossil for music. And then I also had to convert songs if I wanted to download them from the internet into a specific format to work with iTunes and my iPod Touch. So it was just jumping through hoops and it was just kind of a headache. So eventually I reluctantly just took all of the songs from my iPod and made a music playlist on YouTube for it. But if I didn't have to convert songs, I'd still be using my iPod Touch to this day. I just don't feel the need to upgrade unless there's a big reason to. Whether it stops working, malfunctions, or the newer model just has an unbelievably massive amount of changes that are beneficial. And I really do think things were made stronger back in the day, built to last. My original iPod I actually still have, and it works flawlessly. Meanwhile, if you get a modern Apple product, there's a chance it stops working within the first fucking week. Because some of these things they put out, and it's not just Apple, it's not exclusive to them, but some of these things modern companies put out are designed to not last that long, so that way it keeps you buying into their system and on their products. It sucks, but that's just kind of the reality of the world right now. The reason I mention all of this is because right now there's a lot of controversy around the iPhone 15's durability, because it's very fragile from most of the tests that have been put out there, especially when compared to older iPhones that don't break and shatter as easily. I still have an iPhone 11 and no plans of upgrading to the 15 or anything like that because I don't need to. But there are people that every single time Apple puts out a new phone, they get it. Even when they don't need to, their older one works fine, they still get the newer model just because they're hooked on the latest and greatest. And this time around, they're getting a rude awakening with just how fragile the iPhone 15 appears to be. Have you seen the mass amounts of news regarding the iPhone 15's durability? Yeah.
Integrity of the iPhone 15 Pro Max.
Bang. I saw a lot of actual brain dead takes on that, he tried to break the iPhone 15 and it broke. Shocking. What were you expecting? Well, you shouldn't be able to break a phone with just that minimal amount of pressure. This guy apparently does this for every single new iPhone, and this is the first one to do that. I'm a pretty strong guy. I'm up there with Hercules. I can't break... There's a good chance I can't break my iPhone 11 by doing that. But I'm not going to put it to the test, because sometimes I don't know my own strength. The point is, it's real fragile. Give it the rice. That should fix a busted iPhone. Just put it in rice. It'll repair all of this instantly. Also, all the drop tests have broken the phone and removed the camera in 1 or 2 drops. That, to me, isn't surprising. I haven't seen the drop tests, but I would be very curious. I imagine out of all of the major products, Apple's are the most fragile. And it won't even be close. That's my theory. Just do the third video drop test. But like I said, this isn't going to surprise me.
What's up, guys?
I'm
Everything
confident
Apple Pro
they will
here,
break.
and the iPhone 15
And
Pro
so would
Max
mine.
is here. I had to do a video for this one. Titanium. Finally
Nice.
here, USB.
Again, that doesn't make my jaw go to the floor. I expect that with Apple products, and I have for a long time. What I wouldn't expect, though, is to bend it and have it break so quickly and easily. They marketed the phone as not needing a case, then it's the least durable iPhone, how surprising. Also, lowering of repair costs and quality. I didn't look at any of the marketing material. I don't know if that's a claim they actually made or if you're making it up. Sounds like a claim they'd make. I saw they made the claim that they're fucking saving the planet, basically. So that sounds like a ludicrous claim they'd make. Android for the win. I haven't seen that typed out in many, many years for the win. Goddamn, what a throwback. Is Android actually pretty durable? Let me see. Let me look at an Android bin test. What's your most recent Android model? Looks like this is your most recent Android.
OnePlus and I have had a fairly rocky
God.
relationship recently. It kinda all started with the OnePlus 10
Fucking crime
Pro,
scene. He murdered it.
and continued with the OnePlus 10T.
That looks less durable than the iPhone. He fucking snapped that like a twig. Unless this is the strongest man in the world. I mean, that did not seem to take much effort.
But don't worry, OnePlus. With our
No, it's the S23.
As far as durability goes, Samsung has never had any issues. Besides the model that exploded, everything else has been pretty great.
Okay,
And this
nice.
S23 Ultra is no exception. Bending from the front
Handling
to
it like a
give no
champ?
flex, and flipping over the Ultra to the back, rigid as a rock. For anyone who does buy this model, whether it's this year for full price
Nice. See, that's what I would expect with a phone. That it wouldn't just immediately crumble to dust. Like a potato chip. 15 Pro survived the bin test, though. Why do we live in Fantasyland? We just watched it. Yeah, I'm sure the phone still works, but it had ridiculous amounts of damage to it. He fucking blasted it. That was the Pro Max, not Pro. Oh, God, I forgot there's 15 different levels to the iPhone scams. Christ. Okay. I'll look at the So which one? So not the Pro Max, but the Pro. Eat a hot pepper for everything you don't like about new iPhones. I have an iPhone. Like, the thing is, I don't care that much. The only thing I don't like when Apple releases a new product is that my older products stop working as well. Like, it's not a conspiracy, it's just fucking observable data, observable truth. My iPhone battery drains much quicker now since the 15 has come out. And it's been that way every time they release something new. But other than that, I don't really give a fuck. All I use it for is calls. I don't use it to do fucking music videos or anything. I just use it for text and calls. I just don't care. I'm never going... Like, I'm probably not going to break it in my pocket. Though I think with the Pro Max, there is a real potential that you could. Because it's so fragile, there is a chance if you put it in your back pocket and sit down, you could probably break it with that. But other than that, it doesn't apply to me. Why don't you use an Android if you only use it for SMS and calls? Mainly just because I've used Apple since 2007? 2008? I think. When did the iPhone come out? Because I got the one after that. I initially had an LG View, and then I switched to Apple, and it's just been convenient. That's it. It's not like I'm against Android or anything. You're trash at 2K24? Fair. I'm not a big 2K gamer. I play it like once a year just to self-insert myself as a 5'7" freshman going to Michigan State for the story mode. And then when it's pay to win to put more points into your stats, I quit. So you're right. I'm definitely trash at 2K. I do not play it. I'm not going to swipe my credit card every year for stats. The reason I'm a 5'7" freshman at Michigan State is because I can't go 5'6". The game can't compute a height lower than 5'7". If I could, I would do 5'6". No, I don't believe that, TW. I really do believe in the planned obsolescence. I really think. And didn't Apple get sued for this? Where when they put out something new, the previous ones they make start working worse, or they plan them to only last so long, so that way you have to get a new one eventually pretty soon. I thought for sure they got sued for that. Apple again accused of planned obsolescence to be investigated by French regulators. That was in March of this year. May of this year. So it's still very much something in top of mind. It's not in the realm of conspiracy, damn it. And they got sued before for it in the past. That's most products. Yeah, I know it's not exclusive to Apple, but that's the one that I have and experience it with. They got sued because they made the phones not work as good so that the battery life lasts longer. They got sued because they didn't tell Apple users they did that. Yeah, bunch of hubbub. No. When a new iPhone comes out, they make yours work less efficiently. Lock it in. I'll start my own class action.